Alright, geezers and geezettes, here's my review of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Now, the film goes on for 2 hours and 40 minutes, so I'm just going to try and break it down really nice and simply and, try and summarise it in about 2 minutes. So, long story short, here we go. T'Challa, he's ill off screen and it's life and death, and Shuri's racing to try and cure him, but because our mate Killmonger burnt up all the heart-shaped herb in the first film, she's trying to make a synthetic one, but she can't do it in time, and our man T'Challa dies. So one of the early scenes is a big funeral for him, and it's very heartfelt, and obviously with the actor's real death, that adds a bit more external gravitas to it. And it's it's a pretty moving scene, not gonna lie. It's a bit weird because they have one of their ships sort of beams up his coffin like some sort of alien UFO style ship, but whatever. We don't know where his body goes, but that's what happens. Then we see a underwater expedition or whatever you want to call it, like when they send the deep sea divers down, like they did with the Titanic, and then they hit on another source of vibranium. And the two divers get wiped out. And a short while later, we see the arch nemesis Namor turns up into Wakanda, sees Shuri and her mum, Ramonda, and basically he blames them for his people and their vibranium being discovered, which is a great shock to them because they seem to think that Wakanda's the only source of it. Even though I'm pretty sure in 1940 or whenever Captain America's shield was made out of stuff, and I'm not sure if they sourced it from Wakanda, to be honest. But anyway, he blames them, says, "Bring me the scientist responsible or I'm going to attack Wakanda." It turns out the scientist is just an MIT student, Riri Williams, who's going to become Ironheart at some point. So Michonne from The Walking Dead and Shuri fly out to America, MIT. They grab her out of her dorm. She's about fucking 18, but she's apparently somehow made this technology what can seek out vibranium. And why they're going to bring her back to Wakanda, Namor's people kidnap him from America somewhere. I think some bridge near MIT. And he basically takes Shuri, Namor himself takes Shuri on a little sightseeing tour of Talokan, his underwater community, and you see a flashback of how it was founded by Mayans back in the day or something, and whatnot, and then he got some magical powers to breathe underwater. The next minute they're all his fucking descendants, whatever, breathe underwater as well. And then they have a bit of a battle in Wakanda, what ends up in the death of fucking Queen Ramonda, but somehow he's like, "Oh, in a week I'll come back in my full army, that's only half my strength." Then there's a big side story with Martin Freeman's character, and he's trying to help him from the fucking CIA side of things. That is something they probably could cut out, but unless they have a few Caucasians in it, it might not go over so well in certain markets, if you know what I'm saying. So there's quite a big chunk of it is spent on him. Then Shuri makes a new Black Panther suit, rallies up all the troops, and their master plan is to draw out Namor and his cronies to a massive fucking Wakandan aircraft carrier-sized ship in the middle of the sea. And they're going to get Namor in the ship of theirs, and they're going to dry him out, literally, with some fucking massive heater things, because they surmise that he gets his strength from the water, which kind of shits on the rest of their plan, which is to fight all his people in the middle of the fucking ocean, because if they're from the same line as him, they're probably going to get their strength from the water as well. But anyway, that happens, and they have a bit of a smackdown, and then she tries to fly them into the middle of the desert, but they crash on a beach instead, and they have a big dust up. He fucking impales her on a spear, what goes all the way through her fucking midriff and out the back. And I don't know if that Black Panther suit could heal your internal organs and your fucking spinal cord, but whatever, Marvel writing in it. So she pulls it out and then sets up her fucking... She presses one of her little bead things and it shoots out flipping exhaust from the like broken up ship and basically burns him off to a crisp. And she has some vision about, like something about mercy, innit? Like, what sort of ruler do you want to be, blah, blah. So she basically says to him, yield to me, and like she'll let him live and whatever. And then he does, and they go back to the fucking battle scene in that big ship, and they're like, we're mates now. Like, even though half their fucking armies are dead. And it's like, yeah, so stop fighting everyone. Like, we'll help each other from here on out. Because, they never really have an enemy be, like, pure evil. And they probably thought especially, like, they don't want a brown villain to be seen as all bad. Heaven forbid, you know what I mean? That's usually the old white men nowadays, isn't it? So... so that's basically how it ends. Overall, it's a pretty decent film. If I'm being generous, probably a 7. Like, for a decimal point, it probably like a 6.7, something like that. I was never bored personally, but I know a lot of people thought it was too long and probably could have done with some of that Martin Freeman side story being cut out, and maybe... Well, they could have wrote it so that Riri Williams weren't really anything to do with it, but I suppose they're writers were. They probably thought, a young black woman in Black Panther, like, that's the demographic we're after. Like, so, that's probably why they did it in this particular film. But yeah, that's my review. Laters.